Nations Prayer Room to pray for the Mediterranean the last couple of years. And I just sensed and I just realized that those prayers, the prayers you pray here, really count and really make a difference. And I really sensed when we were in Athens that there was a real difference because of the prayers. So sometimes we don't realize it when we're here, how much the prayer really makes a difference, but it really does. And as already been said, this is a Kairos moment. I went out as a missionary in 1978. During those years on the mission field, we didn't directly maybe work with Muslims, though we knew a lot of missionaries that did. But in those days, you would be glad in a year, how long, if one Muslim came to know the Lord. I mean, that's how it was back then. And now, this seems to be an opportunity where God has brought them to the end of themselves. And they come from all over the Middle East. It's not just one country or two. It's all of them, isn't it? And they land in Greece, and they're in so many different places, the refugees. But this is a time that we can reach them, that their hearts are open. They feel so empty, so lost. And you probably picked up a lot of what Deb said, just experiencing all that in detail, how these refugees feel. And so when you go, we want to just encourage you to pray about either getting involved in going or sending or even have more prayer for the refugees and for that part of the world, because this is an opportunity and this is a time when they are searching for answers. They feel so empty inside. We talk to many who do not want to be in these camps. They find it so hard. They feel like their life is just stopped. And you ask them, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to go to college. I want to do this. I want to become that. They have hearts that want to be just like we would want to be. Do this and do that, have a career, have a life. But they're stuck and they have no idea what their future holds. So they're open at this time. And this is where we can show them our love. And you might think, well, what do I have to give them? Just the love of God it means so much to them. An open heart that just wants to love, just as Bev said, hear their story, be in the presence of God among them, and then speak into their lives. So important. So the desperate need is opening the way to salvation among them. And you can go for just a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month, but it's an opportunity. It's life-changing because it changes you, because their story becomes part of your story, and you begin to understand how they really feel and what they're really facing, and how alive this is to them, and how it means so much to you. So we really encourage you to get involved. It's a desperate need, but it's a wide open opportunity for us as the body of Christ to show them love. If we can't go, we can pray. And those prayers mean a lot and reach them. And let me tell you why the house of prayer in Athens is so important. I believe it's going to be a house of prayer. We're praying for the 22nd floor of the tallest building in Athens. But right now it's in a humble dwelling next to a church, just a narrow place. I mean, it's long and narrow kind of a room. But it's where it's starting. And what they need intercessory missionaries. They want people to come. The church wants people to come and pray there and model what it means to pray in the house of prayer. They need people to model it. They need people who will stay 4 hours in the prayer room and model it to them. They need to slow down their lives, the church, and really make time for the house of prayer. There's young people that want to get involved, and they want to use their guitars and all that in the house of prayer, but they need teams to come and model it for them. And it's such an opportunity for that. So I really see the house of prayer as becoming something big in the future. Not only praying for Athens, but praying for the whole Mediterranean and even Israel, that it's going to be a house of prayer. that really brings in the presence and power of God into that region, and that will open the hearts of the refugees and the Greeks. The Greeks need to be reached as much as the refugees. They are in a desperate situation. Many don't have food. Many don't have anything. You will see, if you go there, that they're poor. Many of them are poor, and they're desperate. They need the love of Christ. They need to be reached with the gospel. And so the house of prayer is so important to bring in the presence and power of God in that region and open the way for God to really move among two needy people groups. Well, actually, the whole Middle East and the Greeks, right there in Athens and throughout Greece. So really encourage you to get involved because it's such a blessing. And you don't have to be scared. It's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for everybody.
Hi, I'm Maureen, the fourth team member, and I just want to encourage you, like she did, encourage you to go. The enemy doesn't even want you to hear this, you know. He doesn't want you to go, because this is something God's doing. This isn't something that man's doing. This is all God. And even today, I was supposed to be here to help set up. I got a flat tire halfway here. But I pulled in, but God won't be stopped. I pulled into a quick trip next to the air thing. A YWAM young man was getting gas, pulled up beside me and said, "Can I help you change your tire?" You know, God is good. Yay, God. So, like I said, this is something God's doing. The immigrants, the refugees coming in, they're tired of war. They're disillusioned. You know, they're mad at ISIS. They're disillusioned with Islam, and they're looking for a better life. And this is just such a wonderful opportunity to go and just share God's love. You don't have, like she said, you don't have to be afraid because it's safer than Kansas City. You know, I was walking out at dark on the little neighborhood streets, and there's little, you know, families and a girl on her tricycle pedaling along, and you know, the only ones that have a little fear are those that do become, you know, do give their life to Jesus, hang out with us, hang out with Christians, you know, and they do get some bad things happening to them in the camps. But other than that, there's really nothing to be afraid of. They're very loving people. A little background on myself: I lived in the country of Libya, 99% Sunni Muslim. At that time, under Gaddafi, there were no terrorists there. I was actually safer there also than Kansas City. But you know, and it's not the same now. But at that time, I saw the people. You know, they're very poor. You know, the government's rich, but they're poor, and they were just working hard every day to be able to take care of provide for their family, for their children, and they were very welcoming. "Oh, teacher," you know, welcoming us, inviting us to their homes. I went to 2 weddings. They're just very hospitable, loving people. So that's probably the majority of the you know, those that just grow up in that kind of country, and you know, all they're allowed to know is Islam. So with that said, go and just love them. We need evangelists, we need musicians, singers, you know, anyone that can go if God's telling you, and just ask God to give you a heart of love for the immigrants, because that's all they want. They would thank us just for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you that they're praying for us in the United States. Thank you for praying with us. They just are so open. I want to share one more thing. In Victoria Square, sometimes the families would come in and sit on a bench, and the mother would be there, and the kids would be playing around. And when we'd start talking with them, we'd find out that usually the children spoke English, and as Deb said, we used them for translators. And so I asked him, I said, after we'd been talking for a while, I said, ask your mom and the other women how we can pray for them. And they said, pray for open borders and pray for a future for our children. Now, isn't that just the heart of any mother anywhere in the world? You know, and again, they're just open to God's love. They want to hear about Jesus. They really do. So don't be afraid to go.
Just one more thing from this person. What would it cost if anybody asks you the costs? It's relatively inexpensive when you look at this compared to other trips. So what we found is the major costs were airfare, ground transportation, accommodation, meals, and then we have ministry extras. So the airfares right now at Athens are very cheap. Our fare, it was actually a 3-leg fare over the course of 6 weeks. It was only $700. It was with Turkish Airlines. You might want to write this down. airtkt, airtkt is a really good website to book flights with. But from Kansas City, you could probably get a flight through New York or Chicago directly to the Athens for somewhere around $1,100 in the summer months. That's pretty good. The accommodation there, Airbnb we used. So Airbnb had hundreds of apartments that are privately owned, and you could stay in them from 2 days to 2 years. And they usually have rates, daily rates, weekly rates, monthly, and annual rates. Our rate was $22 a day for a 2-bedroom apartment. That just gives you an idea. But some are even cheaper, some are $11 a day. The ground transportation, the public metro, is very great. It's very easy to use. So buses, the trains, the subways, for €8. Every 5 days you buy a ticket for €8. And that gives you the entitlement to ride as much as you want. So there too, you know, this is just like the Roman roads that were created during the time of the apostles. And common language and everything else. So everything's being landed. The food also, we spent, I think, like about €10 a day for the both of us.
They have nice spinach pies.
It was €1.40 for a spinach.
Really good.
Very cheap. Yeah. And then whatever ministry extras. So ministry extras, we say whatever you want to invest into Bibles, materials, or helping out. Like oftentimes we go and we buy food for people getting food where that was appropriate, or whatever. Medical supplies. So that's the other thing too, where we are looking for medical people to go, as well as counselors and therapists. It's a wide open. Any questions or comments before I put you to work? Susan.
And how much and for how long is a retirement visa?
I don't know. I had the idea that it's indefinite. It's like getting a green card. So like if you're in your 60s, you can go with some kind of special visa. We'll have to look into it.
Let's see, one thing about refugees, they want mothers and fathers.
Mm-hmm.
They will call you mom, they call you mom, and they still emails. But,
It says, how's my mom?
yeah, they want mothers and fathers, and most of you are not kidding.
Yes.
They just do.
Huge need for mothers, fathers, grandmothers.
A lot of them are,
grandfathers.
you know, in their 20s, young or something, and they need mothers and fathers. Just comfort to them.
John?
I've obviously heard about the Syrian refugees. I'm surprised at the international flavor of the refugees in Athens. What's the precipitating cause for so many refugees from so many different nationalities?
It's a mixed bag. Okay, well, the Afghan refugees are coming out of war.
Okay.
The Iraqis are coming out of war. The Syrians are coming out of war. The other ones, so you have the Moroccans, the Algerians, Tunisians, the Libyans, that's a stress situation. But they're tagging along. They're just jumping on the train. Because, like I was talking to a refugee from Algeria, and he said, this is hell. Being here in Greece is hell, and I'm not going to get to Germany, but I don't want to go back to Algeria. Or to
Because why would you not want to go back?
it's so restrictive. was saying that, I said to someone some time ago that we've been trained missionaries. People go through years of Bible training, years of discipleship, and then they have to go through language learning, then they have to go through fundraising, and they go to Afghanistan under the guise of being a business person. And then if they get invited into one home in the course of 4 years and are able to share the gospel with one family, that's success. A year, there's massive glory. And it can't get better. Morning.
Yeah, having lived and visited in Muslim countries, it is a very sad place. Everything is so restrictive. Everything is restricted by the government, and they really don't have hope. And Allah does nothing for them. They just always say, you ask them a question, they say, God willing, which is, inshallah, because they feel like, they just don't know a loving God. And there's just nothing there in these countries for them.
Okay.
So is this a festering problem that is like a sore and that it heals? Or do you have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan? Is this going to be an influx wave that just happened, and then it's going to be people going to college, like some of them want to go to B&B, these things? So you develop a house of prayer in Athens, but the issue is resolved, or do you see this as more than just a temporary festering sore? It's this ongoing decade of, and you have some foresight into
Yeah.
its longevity.
We can only surmise, make an opinion on what's going to happen. I don't think there's anything as a measure. Though the average amount of time that people spend as refugees, I'm not saying everything, I read this, that some people remain as refugees for as many as 10 years. And so that is kind of a rule of thumb. The situation now, this is such a historic, unusual move, people moving, that it took everybody by surprise in a sense. The secular governments, the UN, and the rest, they don't know what to do. And up to this point, they've done very little. So what it appears to me is that the Lord is giving the church the opportunity to step up to the plate. Now, how long it will last, I don't know. It appears that what could happen is, like you used the word fester, it is festering. So those people who are now there seeking hope, if they don't get hope, they will revert to the extremism that they came out of. And those extremes will flare up in pockets around Europe and in cataclysm. That's why the church has to step up to the plate.
And that's why house of prayer makes a lot of sense.
That's why us. And prophetically, we've seen, we've heard it from several people. We felt that there's a river flowing from the throne through Athens. It's made up of compassion, unity, and prayer.
It's interesting that Athens is talking about that people love Athens themselves are broken, and they're also receiving broken people.
That's right.
Better places than to have a house of prayer.
Yeah.
Exactly, and the two missions too.
Yeah.
You may have answered this. Did you say the stream of refugees was continuing at the same rate? Was it lessening because of restrictions by governments? The refugee camps, is there an outlet into Europe still some?
No. Well, what happened now is the UN has made a bargain with Turkey, and Turkey has shut the flow off. And so as far as I know, there might be a trickle, but I don't think any are coming through right now. They have Coast Guard out there. They're apprehending the boats that are trying to make it. And then the borders, those who are in Lesbos, I think they're stuck there. The ones who are in Greece are stuck in Greece. They can't go north. The borders are completely shut. And I have no idea. The Greek government has passed out a flyer among the refugees, or sent out some electronic communication saying that they have several options, but basically what it is either go home or accept asylum here in Greece. It's the only option.
Are there other inlets in Europe besides Turkey, Greece?
Yes, Italy. Italy is one of the other huge recipients of migrants at this point. A huge number are dying, making the crossing from Libya to Sicily. Mary?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are stuck. In Lesbos, what's happened, when they made that decision, it's like from one day to the next, instead of arriving in Lesbos and now you get a ticket into a new life, now instead of going through the camps, they were put into detention centers. So basically Lesbos is a big jail
Detention center.
at this point. And there are greater and greater riots going on because there's such hopelessness.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very difficult, very, very difficult for the workers who are there because of the increased level of hopelessness. And I think in Athens, that's just going to increase and increase. And the same thing actually in Cyprus, that if there are any boats that accidentally get to Cyprus, they're stuck because Cyprus actually processes them. So now they are no longer refugees, now they're immigrants, and they're stuck. And there's a whole community there and so it's kind of like you don't want to end up at Cyprus because then you're really stuck there. But I just want to say, I just so encourage you in the idea of the house of prayer, because that is long-term strategy. That is absolutely long-term strategy. Not only is Jesus just worthy of being worshipped and glorified in that place, but that house of prayer can shift the entire atmosphere. It can be a place for the workers to come and be refreshed. It can be a place for the new believers to come and get trained and raised up. And so it's just such a win-win on every aspect. And
It's
so
also a place for the networking of believers who are Christians already and organizations to come together.
That's right.
exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I
I agree with
just
that.
really, really encourage that thrust of all of it. I mean, the counseling, all of the businesses, that's all really good, but for that to stem from the house of prayer is just brilliant strategy. Go figure.
And the churches have been the best as well.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, if you have a thoughts on the Syrians that are now stuck in Turkey and what's going on there?
Yes. We have a friend who's working with an agency in Turkey in camps. So I wrote to her and said, well, give us a pulse on what's happening with the refugees in Turkey. And she said, the Turkish government's receiving a lot of money, but just a small amount is getting to them. And she said the best case scenario is that some of the refugees are getting a small apartment, which they share with about 20 others. And if they're really fortunate, they'll be able to send one of their children to school. And she went on to say just that it's not a good situation. And I wouldn't encourage any refugees to go back to Turkey, because I think it's just it's more oppressive and repressive in Turkey.
They're not going back to Syria, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's either that or going back to destroyed villages or ISIS or well, we'd like to do it over there.
How many hours are going in the house of prayer right now?
Well, it's just getting started, so once a week. I hope to go back around August to put a few more things in place. And then later on this year, we're going to go for a more extended time. Hope that other will go.
Will the worship be in, what language will the worship be?
All of them. And that's where Murray and his team, the Global 111 is going to come in to equip worshipers and singers in all the different languages. And that excites me.
When you said Murray earlier, I'm just curious, did he have a vision for Greece before this came up? Or
No.
it was as a result?
Yeah. And we've been tracking together for a few years now because our hearts were the same in that regard. But his perception was that a lot of people have come here to the School of Music, and they really, became the songbirds that were prophesied. But then they'd leave and they'd say, then what? two things. One is that if you make sure that we're connected through contact information, and let us know what you feel, about any way you could be involved, anything that we mentioned up to this point. And let's keep in touch. If you could tell others, that others can do with us, that's nice. And that Maureen's got a sign-up sheet up there also. But in closing, could I ask that we do two things? Get into groups of 4 or 5 people and just spend 2